morning, grand rising to you and also you. Welcome to the Elevate Your Health Morning Show. I am StarzTina, your host. I am that person that's going to take you from good to great to amazing. I feel supercharged today, super energized. But first, I want to thank BWC, Breakfast with Champions, for the opportunity to come to you today with all of my wisdom and knowledge. If you like what you're hearing, you want to go to bwcdaily.com. That's where our community lives. All the hosts are there. You're going to see things about fitness, finances, relationships, all the things. You're going to absolutely love it. As I mentioned, I am Tina. I am your faith-based health and wellness coach. Super excited today. And when you come through, I am that fitness person that's just going to make you think a little bit differently. And I love to start each topic, each day with hot health topics. Ooh, guys, the knife works a lot better than the other thing for the noise. Hot health topics. So today's hot health topics comes to you, and I wanted something that would kind of wow us, right? And the first one I want to talk about is someone named William Shatner. Not sure if you're familiar with who he is. Some of the young ones may not know who he is. And his daughter, both of them at the same... Are
you talking about Captain Kirk from Star Trek?
Yes, I am, girlfriend. Yes, I am. Captain Kirk from where? From what show? What show?
Star Trek.
Star Trek, yes. I'm not
a lot of other things, but that was, yeah.
Yes, I'm not a Trekkie or anything like that. And I actually looked it up because I wanted to make sure. But him and his daughter both battled stage 4 cancer at the same time. He was 94, his daughter was 61. And it's amazing how they both overcame it. Right? When you come together with love and support and just determination, I just thought that was just so wild. Can you imagine fighting for your own life while fighting for your child's life at the same time? It's just something that's just so wild to me. And I think this really stuck out to me because we hear these stories about people. And I was like, well, how do they do it? Did they give up? Ideas, thoughts, curious if anyone has any opinions about this, because when I heard it was just like, wow. Family support, medical advances. I know when a lot of people get older, they have family members take care of them, and some of them can do it, some of them can't. I know Trisha, I don't know if she's in the building, that's something that she says like falls on her heart. And I say, anyone who is a nurse, you are an angel, because I know when it comes to, especially like nursing homes and things like that, it's kind of challenging. So I thought that was pretty wild. Now, this second, I'm going to pause for a second. If anyone else wants to share about their thoughts on William and his daughter and the cancer. Now, this next one, I thought this was so open. And I love how celebrities are actually opening up. We all know Simone Biles. I don't know about you, but I love her. But she actually keeps her anxiety medication in her purse. Now, I'm not, familiar for myself with anxiety or depression when it comes to medication and things like that. But I understand a lot of people are taking these medications. She's one of the strongest athletes in the world, physically, mentally, right? And she carries her medication out with her. She's not ashamed of it. And I think we all need to stop being ashamed of the mental illness or things that are going on, right? She revealed that she carries it around in her bag. Again, I don't know if you're supposed to take these things when you're feeling the anxiety at a certain time at the same day. If anyone, does know or have opinions or takes anxiety medication, would like to school us on this, I would love to hear your thoughts and comments. Because looking at the picture of her, I was watching and had like a little picture of her and she's like smiling with the medication there. I thought that was so wild. Anyone? All righty. We are moving on, go, guys. That's all about hot health topics today. Today's topic that we're talking about, I'm loving it. I'm going to leave some space here because as I mentioned, when it comes to health, we all know that the body, the mind, the soul are all connected. And today's topic came to me from a video that someone sent me. And if you're in my inner circle, you got this video a couple weeks ago. When I first got the video, I watched a few minutes of it. And then this weekend on Sunday, actually after church, I watched it again. And some of the ways of how I get the topics of what I'm going to talk about is either something I've read, something I heard in church, or something that Myron told me because, I go to Myron twice a week. So that's what all today's topic is about. Today's topic, who's driving the bus? That's what it's all about today, and it's mastering your emotions. But if you have not heard, there's a wonderful author. Her name is Dr. Anita Phillips. Put some stars in the chat if you've ever heard of Dr. Anita Phillips. If you've heard of her, do you know what book she wrote? Have you heard about the book? I'm going to give a little pause here because I think it's pretty amazing. The book is called The Garden Within. She's all over social media, and it's about mastering your emotions. And this comes at the perfect time for me because I'm coming across one of those monumental times of year. This past weekend, if you're in Florida, you know or in the South, I should say, it's a back to school time. Back to school is coming. Everyone's getting ready for school. And I was asked to be a part of a back to school event last Saturday. Oh my gosh, I don't think I saw so many children. It was wild. If you guys did not know, I have a nonprofit program inspired by my son, and I wrote a book, and the book is called Traumedy No More for Kids. So the Traumedy No More for Kids, it's a book, and traumedy is when the energies of a trauma and a tragedy collide. Everyone gets them, right? Children get them as well. So in my book, it teaches children how to acknowledge their feelings. And while we're at it right now, if you're looking at me, or maybe you're not looking at me, I have a screen, a little poster in front of me, and it has emoji faces. And I want you to tell me right now in the chat on the board, if you want to unmic and share, how are you feeling? And you people say, I'm good, I'm fine. That's not a feeling. How do you feel? You know, if you look on here, you see surprised, scared, annoyed, bored, shocked. There's so many emotions. And children sometimes don't understand what they're feeling, right? They could be mad, they could be angry, they could be sad, and they don't understand it. And then when they don't understand, they just get irritated. And I know a lot of adults that are like that too. They don't understand what they're feeling. Ashley, how are you feeling, Ashley? I see a smile there. Ashley's feeling happy. Love that, Ashley. So first I teach them how to understand what they're feeling. After that, I teach them how to express it. How do you express it? By telling someone, telling your mom, telling your teacher, telling a counselor. And then after we've taught them how to share, then we teach them how to overcome these feelings with different things like journaling, meditation, breath work. I'm going to pause for a hot second and teach everyone on here one simple thing you can do if you're in a not so good state of mind. And when I say not so good state of mind, you could be anxious, mad, glad, like all confused. I want you to put your hand up like this and put your other finger on the bottom. And this is a breath work exercise. And a little girl taught this to me. She said her mom taught it to her. There's so many breath work exercises. And you put your hand up like you're putting up the number 5. And then on the other end, you're going to take your pointer finger and put it on the bottom of your hand. And you're going to inhale as you go up, exhale as you come down. Join in, guys. Come on. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Again, exhale. Final one. This breath work, any type of breath work, helps everything in your life. It calms your nervous system down. If you notice, my tone is a bit slower now, something I am intentionally working on, because I go like your business, but I really want to slow things down. So when you do that breath work, it helps you. So this weekend, I had the opportunity of having a table at this event, and it's so cute. If you guys don't know, Renee is my supporting partner. And I went to an event last year and I saw this table. It was a faith-based table with fitness stuff, what I'm doing. And I saw they had these little Jesuses. If you look at my screen, you'll see the little Jesus. I'll show you over there on Instagram. And Renee ordered us some little baby Jesuses. That's what I call them, baby Jesus. And she got some black baby Jesuses. I've seen the baby Jesuses, but they were all white baby Jesus. But Renee got black baby Jesuses. So with the black baby Jesus, I had them I was like, you want me to take them to the school? She's like, well, you don't have to. And I was like, oh, well, because we had all sorts of goodies we were giving out to teach the children how to overcome their emotions. I found one right here. For example, one of the things we had these little scrunchy balls with motivational words on it. Like this one says, don't give up. So when the kids came over to the table, I also had these beautiful little, if you guys have ever seen the movie Inside Out, and the children were trying to take them, guys. They were trying to take them. I had the little emotions from the movie Inside Out there. And I have the kids come up and I say, how you feeling? And every single kid, okay, not every single kid, because a lot of them were tired. But some of the kids were like, I'm happy. When I had them put their finger up to their board, every single child was happy because it was at least maybe 50 to 60 vendors there giving out stuff to the children. So my goal was I have to give. So when they came up, hey, and I was in charge of emotions and exercise. So my thing was like going. So they came up and I was like, how you feeling? I had the board there. They all said happy. So that I had to like get into their heads. And I was like, okay, have you ever felt angry or mad or sad? And then the kid would look up at the parent as if to say, can I answer? And the parent's like, mm-hmm. And they say, yeah, I'm feeling bad. And I ask them, well, how do you express yourself? Because my goal that day was to teach these children how to be in charge, to drive the bus of their emotions. So I was like, angry. And then they saw the little baby Jesus. They saw the baby Jesus and everyone was like, oh, can I have one? Can I have one? And I was like, okay, I must have had about 250 of these baby Jesus. I've only got one left, guys. They love the baby Jesus, which makes me think we need to bring baby Jesus back in school. All right, that's my rant about my weekend and the baby Jesus and giving back and all that stuff. Anyone want to, I'll pause for a hot second if you want to give your thoughts on that, because I know sometimes I can talk really quick.
Hey, Tina, I just wanted to say that giveaways are, it's not what you were mentioning, but giveaways are so important. I think that people like something in hand. They love tangibles. I remember the people I look up to, Jay Baer, a lot of his book launches, giveaways, different context, wasn't an event, but similar things. Seth Godin, he has all kind of caricatures of himself, little doodads, playing cards he's giving away at events. So it just adds an attachment, whether it's a book maybe. So I love a giveaway of some sort. Black Jesus, white Jesus, that's for you and Renee, but I love a good giveaway.
I love it. Yes, it was so much fun. And I learned so much. It's like the more events I do, and listening to you this morning with health, you know, when it comes to business, yes, it's scary being an entrepreneur, right? It's scary for various reasons. One, you're on that ledge by yourself. It's like, am I doing this right? Am I doing it wrong? Am I making money? Am I not making money? Maybe you have to go get another job and it's just like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? But being in a community like BWC, again, guys, whether, and I say everyone has a business, your life is your business. Go to bwcdaily.com and tune in because we will keep you inspired. Motivation is great. You come in here on Wednesday, every morning, you know, whatever show you listen to, you're motivated. You're like, yes, I can do this. And then you leave the show and you're like, oh, I'm sad, I'm mad, it's hot, it's cold, it's Bill, blah, 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 blah. That's where the inspiration comes in. We're going to inspire you to get your why and then transform your mind, your body, your soul, so you can create everything, right? I told you a couple of weeks ago, Mary Lynn was talking about the event she did last year, or two years ago, actually, because one of the reasons why I moved to Florida was because of Mary Lynn's event. And Mary Lynn invited me to an event. It's being surrounded by the people that are going to inspire you because they are no different than you or me. If you guys didn't know, every Monday and Thursday, I hang out with Myron. And listening to him talk, it's just like, wow. And he'll always say, I'm not the sharpest knife in the toolbox, Lord Jesus. I'm not the sharpest knife in the drawer, you know, but I know a lot of things and it feels so great. I've been going there probably for about 2 or 3 months now, and seeing the elevation even in him, you know, at this time is amazing. So join bwcdaily.com. We have so much stuff for you there. Today's topic, like I said, came from a video by Dr. Anita Phillips. It's kind of long. The video is about 1 hour and 36 minutes, and I wanted to be intentional when I actually watched it because I don't know if you're anything like me. Can you do more than one thing at a time? Because I legit can drive my car, do my makeup, eat, talk on the phone, and get my playlist together for class. I can do all the things. But is that a good thing to do? Absolutely not. One thing at a time. Marvin says it all the time. Focus. Follow one course until successful. If you're wondering, well, why am I not successful at losing weight? Why am I not successful at getting this business? Maybe because you're doing too many things. That is why I slowed down with my nonprofit, the school program, because I was focusing on my fitness business more, right? And then I have to say, I cannot say no. If someone says, Tina, can you speak? Tina, can you do this for the kids? Because I'm going to be there for the kids. Welcome to the building, Aisha. So I say that to say, when it comes to things that you want and things that you need, focus on one thing. And yes, the video, Dr. Anita. And Renee, if you can put that somewhere in the chat, it's a YouTube video. It's a sermon of her speaking, Dr. Anita Phillips. And she talks about the garden within, which is your heart, and talking about emotions. That's what I do. And a lot of people I have noticed are afraid to be emotional. And she brought it back to like Jesus. Do you think Jesus was emotional? I want to leave some space if anyone wants to have a conversation with me. I'm not the biggest Bible reader, even though I'm reading more. I hear these stories. I love it. But Jesus was kind of emotional. They said he was flipping tables. Have you ever been so mad where you flipped a table? And does anyone know why he flipped the table? I can't quite remember. But if you know why Jesus flipped the table, I would love to know why. Because you got to be kind. Yes.
Yeah, I believe it's my understanding, and I am a Bible reader, Christian, but it's my point is that I believe that because the temple, the church, as it were, then was a house of worship, a house of prayer, a place to get in touch with God, and many, especially of the leaders, were turning it into an epicenter of e-commerce, and it angered him, a righteous anger, that why are you turning my house, God's house, into a place for commerce and making money and to get rich, when the primary purpose is to worship him, gather to him. Have people bring their sacrifices back then, and slit the sheep's throat and all that back then, animal sacrifices for the forgiveness of sin. So that was his anger, is my understanding, is because it was a place of commerce instead of a place of commitment to Jesus.
I love it. So if Jesus can be angry, we can be angry as well. There's no wrong emotion. That's what she was saying. Another one, they were saying crying, weeping, being sad. Some people are afraid to cry. My daughter, we talk all the time, and she says, yeah, if I'm not crying at least 2 times a week, something's wrong. I got to cry, right? It's a full moon. Lord of mercy. I don't know if it's the full moon or what. I know some women have still got the Mother Nature going on, but we're super emotional. There's nothing wrong with crying. I hear the story about Lazarus, where, did I say that correct? Where he died and Jesus was crying. He was weeping, even though he knew he was going to, come back to life. He was still crying. So if Jesus can be emotional, how come we can't be emotional? And if you guys did not know this, when you are broken, when I say broken, I mean sad, mad, angry, emotional, and you're afraid to go do that thing or whatever it is, when you get through it, it is so much beautiful, so much better on the other side. I think about where I am now, AJ, and that's after Jamal, and then you have BJ, you have before Christ, after Christ. AJ is after Jamal, that's my son. AJ and BJ, Tina, what is the difference in the two of them? Well, BJ, Tina, life was great. Life was wonderful. I was still doing the entrepreneur thing, but it was different. I had a modeling company and we did fashion shows and talent shows and all that sort of stuff. Then I started getting into fitness and it was cool. But AJ, Tina now is totally different. I think the biggest difference for me now is I'm more giving and more compassionate to teach and give to others. Yes, I was giving to others before, but now it's totally different. Why? Because I tapped into those hard emotions. And I don't know about you, I actually, as I was listening to, and let's see if Renee put it in the chat here, because I actually was sending it to my family members and to everyone. Someone put, maybe lady, oh no, she put Instagram reel in there. She'll get the video in there so you guys can watch it. But as I was watching it, I said, emotions. Let me just write down some emotions. And I was curious about how I feel. And do me a favor, if you want to be a part of this topic, write in the chat 3 to 5 of the top emotions you feel most every single day. If you had to put down, these are the 3 emotions I feel mostly every day, write them down. And I'm going to share with you right now the emotions that I feel most days. Most days, if I'm being totally honest, I'm sad. I feel alone. I'm depressed. I'm lonely. I put alone again, so I must really feel like I'm alone because I wrote it twice. I feel like I've been lied to. I'm frustrated. I feel abandoned. I feel angry. These are true feelings that I feel most days. And then what I did was I put a big arrow next to that and I put joy. I choose joy every single day because if I lived in those emotions all the time, life would be kind of ugly. It would not be not nice at all. No one joined in my party to share your emotions, but that's fine. As I mentioned, today's topic is who's driving the bus and how do you feel? So I've been saying this for the past 2 weeks. Grief is love with nowhere to go. I'm going to repeat that one more time because we all feel grief. We all feel sadness, right? Welcome to the stage, Dr. Elisa. Grief is love with nowhere to go. Focus on what you can control and feel the love surrounding you. I heard it on mic. Someone want to speak? Go for it.
Tina, it's Trisha.
Hey, Trisha Rue.
Hey, honey. Good morning.
Morning.
So I'll focus in on what you were saying about emotions that I feel daily. Most recently, I've felt grief. I've felt sadness, but I've also felt happiness. I've felt satisfaction. I've felt love. I've felt appreciation. So there's so many different things. It goes up and down all the time. But I think that it's how we balance them and how we experience them and allow them to happen. So that's what I want to
I love
share.
that. Trisha, can you share with us how you pull yourself out of those states? Because I love that you acknowledge them, right? A lot of people don't acknowledge them. If you're feeling sad, mad, depressed, how do you get yourself to that joyous, happy state? What are some things you do?
I count on other people to help me out. Sometimes I need to talk through it, and I need to have other people help me do that.
Okay, let's pause right there. Do you reach out to the same people? Is it a therapist? Is it a friend? Talk to me about that.
Friends, spouse, family, and I had a therapist. I think that it's time to get another one. Because I did that for a while and I stopped doing that, and now it's time. I think there's seasons and times for everything.
Yes. Can you say right here with me? I agree with you because I've been to so many therapists. It's been up and down, right? And I didn't have a therapist. I stopped my therapy because I'm like, I'm good. And it's wild because this notebook, if you guys look, journaling, this notebook I bought last year in February when I went to Tulum. And that was when we were remembering when he was murdered. And I write in this when I get angry. That's when I actually journal the most. So journaling is one way that I do it. But I say that because I was like, one day I was crying for legit 45 minutes. I'm like, girl, you don't have time for this. So I did my thing. I'm playing my praise music. I'm dancing. I'm still crying. I'm like, cry. I felt like whoever was dancing their clothes off. David was it David who danced his clothes off? I don't know. But it was not working. Nothing was working. So I sent out some prayer requests, pray for me. And I finally got through it. And I was like, girl, you need to call your therapist. And I made a therapy appointment the next day. I believe everybody needs therapy. And I actually took it out of my schedule. Out of my budget, Trisha, because I was like, I can use that money for something else. And I was like, Tina, keep it in the budget. There's all different types of rates and prices, guys. So go ahead and get that. Who else wants to speak? Unmic, say your name, question, comment. All righty. If you're just tuning in, I'm Tina. We are here, bwcdaily.com. Join in if you have not. We are talking about how do you feel? Who's driving the bus? Who's driving the bus of your life? And think of your emotions like a bus, right? And I don't know about you, but God has my GPS. Many years I've been trying to lead the bus myself. Tina, you're going to do this. And I'm just like, trying to stay in control. And it's like the road is bumpy and it's like, And I made a decision, girl, it's hard trying to control everything in your life, especially your emotions. So I decided to you hear it all the time, let go and let God. That's what I decided to do. So one thing I want to talk about today is your emotions are messengers, not masters. You are in control of how you feel. Just because you feel something doesn't mean you have to follow through with it. I'm going to share something with you guys. And don't tell anybody, okay? I only told 2 people, but I'm going to tell you guys right now. I think it was yesterday. Maybe it was yesterday or the day before yesterday. I don't know. I was feeling I think it was yesterday. I don't know. My days are running together. And there's certain things that you do and you shouldn't do or you do. And I was just like, oh my gosh, feeling all the overwhelmness, every emotion on here, and then another bucket full of them I was feeling. and I was a little hungry, and I was driving home, and I went to McDonald's. I went to McDonald's, guys, and I had a sausage, egg, and cheese biscuit with a hash brown. And I was like, okay, it's not that bad. I did it. I'm facing it. I'm acknowledging. Why did I do it? Because I hadn't had one in years. And I say that to say sometimes you might fall off the boat, fall off the bus, get off the rails. That's okay, just as long as you get back on it. Just because I made that mistake doesn't mean I don't want to be healthy. Yes, I am healthy, but I had that moment where I kind of fell off. I have to master a little bit better my feelings and my emotions. Has anyone ever fallen off the bus when it came to their emotions? I'm just curious because it can be challenging sometimes. So that's the first topic I wanted to talk about when it comes to mastering your emotions, realizing that you're in charge of it. You can say, you know what, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. The second topic I wanted to talk about regarding your emotions is cognitive dissonance. And I first heard this word when I was watching a video about slavery. And they were saying some of the ways that the masters made themselves feel okay about slavery was that in their mind, they didn't see the slaves as humans, as people. Like they can't feel, so it's okay to do these things to them. I read one part of it where they were saying some of the women, they were doing practices on like their private parts to do different things, and they didn't care, because they don't have feelings. That's cognitive dissonance when your mind and your heart, it just doesn't make sense. And sometimes that happens with your emotions. Has anyone here ever said, well, I want to be a better mom, and you still do things that just aren't on track with being a good mom? Maybe you don't get your kids up early in the morning. Maybe you don't cook. Maybe you don't, whatever. Something's not matching. And when your behaviors don't match what's going on inside, that kind of makes it tough for you to do that. What I've learned for myself is when it comes to something that I truly want and desire, I pause and I say, okay, why do I want this? Is it matching my mind? I know this is supposed to happen, but this is going on. Why? Something that makes me think about this is a relationship that I was in. And in this particular relationship, something just didn't feel right. And I was like, should I stay or shouldn't I go? And you have the opportunity to have a conversation, right? And sometimes one person wants to have the conversation, the other person doesn't want to have the conversation. That's where the mishmash kind of comes with that. So it's very important to express yourself, right? Communication is so important. Myra was talking about that this week. He was talking about the relationships. That's the best way to run your business or run your life is relationships. If you have better relationships, then and I wish I could get to my notes in my phone, but it's not. I have to go from memory here. But communication, connection. Yesterday, I was standing in the gym and this girl comes over. I'm training a client and she comes over and she's like, I just want to watch. And I'm like, okay, why does she want to watch me? And then she's like, yeah, someone in the gym referred me to you to be their, for you to be my trainer. And I'm like, okay. And in my mind, I'm like, because I don't want any more clients. Like your girl's cup is flowing. Ashley says it all the time. You want that cup flowing so that the my saucer is filled, guys. So then I'm on my phone doing some work and then someone comes over and he's like, yeah, Tina, I referred a client over to you. She asked me, were there any good trainers in the gym, blah, blah, blah. And I said, okay, why? Why did you tell her to come to me? He says, because I can tell that you're really good. Now, mind you, he hasn't even had a conversation with me about training or anything. He's just watched me. And this makes me think about when you think about people that are Christians or people that are, want to say, well, you want to walk the life, you want people to see it. You don't want to have to say, I'm a Christian, I'm a leader, I'm a fitness person, I'm a this. No, people should look at you and by your actions and your emotions, they should be able to tell the type of individual you are. Can someone look at you and say, I'm a scroll through right now. Let me scroll through. Pastor Jeff. I know that Pastor Jeff is, from the way he shows up, he is very educated. I heard him say this morning, he went to film school. He graduated, and I don't know if he's open to talk right now, but Pastor Jeff, he's like my first big major paying coach, meaning I paid. My major coach that I paid was Dr. Renee, what's his name? He's a lawyer. Anyway, Pastor Jeff reminds me of him. And he's always educating himself. Always.
Dr. Fred.
Thank you. Dr. Fred. Woo! He spent tons and tons and tons, can I say tons and tons of money on himself. That's why I hired him as my coach, because he was on BWC one day. He talks about, he helps you write your book, publishing your book, creating your story. He's the one who inspired me, I don't even know where it is, to write my book. All right. I remember, and I got to hit up my Dr. Fred, right? Dr. Fred. So my first book, I thought I was the ish and then some, guys. This book is actually something I wrote for my clients. I'm a trainer, and I'd give my clients homework, and they'd come back the next day with nothing. So I had all these pieces of paper. I'm like, Renee, can you turn this into a book? And we turned it into a book. So I was good. I'm like, I got a book. Dr. Fred was on here, and he's like, everybody has a book in them. And he's talking about his education. Now, I wanted to hire him as my coach to help me grow my business. So I DM'd him, and he's talking. I'm like, I don't need a book. I got one already. And then I started telling him about my story. We're talking. And my book shares a little bit of my story and then how to get through those hard times. And I say that Pastor Jeff, I know, has poured into his education. Are you able to chat with me real quick, PJ? Maybe not. But the point is, education and putting yourself out there so that you can do those things. Cognitive dissonance. I'm scrolling through to make sure I didn't miss anything with this topic here. Do you guys understand where I'm going with this? The cognitive dissonance? Not.
Yes.
Who is that? Is that my Trisha girl?
Who's Trisha?
Thank you, Trisha girl.
Pastor Jeff is in Las Vegas.
So
it's
yes.
a little bit of a different timeline.
Yes, that's true. Thank you. And I just love how he's always teaching us and pouring into us. Have you ever known exactly what you want to do, what you should do, and still did the opposite? Has anyone ever done this? Am I the only person that does this right here? It's an uncomfortable feeling that happens when your beliefs don't match your behaviors. And examples, I know I should exercise. I know I should, but I just don't feel like it. I just don't know how. There's excuses. And I hear this all the time from a lot of older women. Yeah, I know I need to lift weights, but I like to do cardio more. I like to do Zumba. Well, you know it, but you don't do it. Why? Because it doesn't connect. But I can guarantee you, if I share a story with you of someone who I know that did not exercise, well, actually they exercised, but they didn't lift weights, and then their muscles started breaking down, and then they broke a hip, and then they were in the hospital, and then they couldn't walk. That's going to happen. How many people know it's unhealthy to smoke, but they do it anyway? Or you know a relationship is toxic, but you're still in it. And what about this one? This one's really deep. How do you know that God has called you for more? But you're like, no, I don't want to do that. And let me tell you guys, when I was watching this video with Dr. Anita Phillips, I had to pause it. I'm not saying I got scared. Trisha, thank you, girlfriend. Woo, woo. She sent me 25, a cup of coffee. Woo. When I was watching the video, I had to pause the video because we feel, right? And I was like, for myself, whoa. I don't have any doubt in my mind that God has called me for more. God has called me for greatness. God has called all of us for greatness, but I know his calling on me is huge. And I don't want to say scared, but I got emotional because I know I've been through a lot, right? A lot of people, they just can't go through a lot. They get all emo and they just like whatever. But I know that there's more tears that I have to cry. I know there's more pain that I have to go through. And I'm okay with that because that pain is going to get me to the other side. That pain is what's going to help other women realize, go to that therapist, go to that therapist, go to that therapist. Because if you find that you get emotional and you can't control yourself, you can't control your own emotions, you need some help. There's nothing wrong with needing help, right? There's nothing wrong with understanding, well, you know what? I'm going to learn how to control my emotions. And like Trisha said, and the reason why I asked Trisha, reaching out to people, because I know I used to do that. And sometimes I do now if I can't, but sometimes people don't understand. They may not be there. They can't get it. And sometimes it just doesn't help. It is good to have them there. So instead of changing your behavior, Change the story that you're putting in your head, what you're saying about it, right? You deserve happiness. You deserve joy. You deserve love. You deserve all those things. You're not too old. You're not too busy. You're just making up excuses. You're not broken, right? Stop having that cycle go on in your head. I had a conversation with someone the other day, and it was all about money. And sometimes if you're scared, and again, if I am scared, I'm just so used to always working. And this is an old story. You guys want to hear my old story? You want to hear my old crazy money mindset story? Let me tell you a little something, okay? My old money mindset story said, girl, you work a lot. The saying is, someone always say, you're like a Jamaican, Tina. You got 2, 3, 4 jobs. When I was younger, I was a single mom. This was that story. It's the past. I'm looking at that story. Acknowledge what you're going through, guys. Whatever feeling, whatever emotion, acknowledge it. Let's do that right now. Write in the chat, what are you acknowledging about your life that you want to change? All right. So yes, I was a single mom. Yes, I got $20 a month in child support. Yes, I wanted my kids to have a better life. I wanted them to do all the activities, basketball, cheerleading, dance, gymnastics, football, you name it. I had my kids in it. And I worked all the time. Let me tell you, it was pretty much head on the pillow, out to work. Head on the pillow, out to work. Hustling and driving. I got to do it. Why? Because I just wanted to make sure I had the money there. So my mind used to think I have to work all the time for money, but in time and money, it's not going to equal out. You have to work smart, not hard. So now I have that old story. I'm reframing that story, right? And what does this new story look like? This new story looks like Tina having an abundance of time, because I don't know about you, but time is precious. Time is priceless. Managing your time, having boundaries with yourself, right? Knowing what you can control and what you can't control. Calendly is something that I'm going to do now. I'm ordering the Calendly. Someone suggested it to me yesterday because I have 3 different, maybe 4 to 5 different calendars in my life. And what do I mean by that? Well, I have my nonprofit calendar of events that have to be done, whether it's speaking, whether it's giving back, whatever. Then I have my Elevate 360 business. And if you guys didn't know, I, along with my supporting partner, Renee, we have an online and in-person holistic wellness center. What does this consist of? It consists of morning fitness classes online. And I want to give a big shout out to my girl, Carla, who's coming through and supporting me on that. Because let me tell you something, okay? Getting up every single morning at 4:30 can be a bit challenging when you're doing all the other things. And Carla has come through and supported me with that. So we have online classes. We have in-person classes. We have events. By the way, guys, we have an event coming up in a couple of weeks. It's a sunset yoga flow. It's at Apollo Beach. I'm partnering with another woman, Rakita, and I'm so excited about this. It's going to be a day of relaxation. And to let you guys know, a lot of the things that I do for myself. If you see the link at the top of the room here, you see a little picture of a line. You see 32, 32, 32, 32. On August 4th, if my sonny boy was still here with me, he would have been 32 years old. And yesterday I was sitting at my desk and one of my clients comes up and she's talking to me and she says, "May I ask you a question?" I said, "Sure." And she said, "Did you lose a child?" Because I don't go around bragging about it, or I don't want to say bragging about it. I don't go around looking at it, looking like it on my face, right? What does it look like to have lost a child? It can look like anger. It can look like pain. It can look like frustration. It can look really ugly, right? And I remember when the first few months when I had this situation, this was back in 2016. And to let you guys know, he was murdered on a Friday night at 9:12. The following Friday, we had the funeral because I just wanted to hurry up and get it out of the way. It was a horrible experience, right? The following week, I went back to work. My daughter was with me the entire time. She'd come to work. I was teaching classes at the time. We'd be at the gym and she was by my side. We were doing everything together. And I say that because it's been 10 years now since he's been gone, and it feels like yesterday. He would have been 32 years old. And you think I have like a wild, huge, big, dreams, goals, all that stuff. His was bigger than mine, if you can believe it. And I guess because I poured into him and his sister all the time. So they had these big dreams. So what we've decided to do, his birthday is August 4th, which is next week. And I decided to take the day off. I actually went to my calendar and I took it off. Why? Because I'm probably going to be a little emotional that day. I may see something that's going to trigger me, because you are going to have triggers in your life. For me, it could be seeing a parent and a child, and either the parent not appreciating the child or the child doing something that's going to trigger me. So I took that day off. And what we're doing is we have a donation-based link right here for his birthday celebration. So if you want to say happy birthday to my Molly, to my Sunny boy, we are collecting anything in increments of $3 to $32. It could be $3, $13. But with all the funds there, we're putting to our nonprofit scholarship program, because each year we give back to the students. So that's what that link at the top is all about. And that goes back to your emotions, controlling them, correct? Oh, I see some people over there on Facebook and Instagram saying hello. Pausing for a hot second for a sip if anyone wants to tap in. All righty, crew. It is 8:42. If you're just chiming in, I'm here. We're talking about mastering your emotions. I have some notes. Let me get over here to my notes. Oh, here we go, guys. Ways to master your emotions. I got some tips for you, okay? The first one is name it. Write that in the chat somewhere. Name it. What are you feeling? Mad, anger, sad. What are you feeling? And then ask, what story are you telling yourself? This is huge. Remember I talked about the story I used to say to myself, well, I've always worked hard. Change the story. Challenge the story. Is it true, or is it fear talking? Are you afraid to have that wonderful life? Are you afraid to just let God do what he's supposed to do? Think about the things that happen in your life. And someone said something to me the other day, and they said, do you think your marriage was, my first marriage was by God, or did I force it? Did God bring my husband into my life, or something like that? And I 150% know that God brought Johnny Escalera into my life. I actually met him 2 weeks before my son was murdered. And this is what I knew on our third or second date, that he was going to be my husband. And first of all, I kind of lied, not to him. But again, I was working all the time because I was used to working. And he asked me out on a date on a Saturday. And I was like, sure. But I had to call out of work because I was supposed to be working. And we were on this mountain. I don't know where we were. We're sitting on the mountain. And he said, can I pray for our relationship? And I was like, when he said that, I was like, oh my gosh, that's my husband. I was feeling so, I was like, who does that? Who says, let's pray together? If you're a man and you want to pray with me, come, let's pray together. No, let me stop. Anyway, when he said that, I took a picture of us and I knew. And then 2 weeks later, bam, my son was murdered. And that man was there for me every single day. I was actually at his house when I got I didn't get the news that he was murdered. I got the news something happened. And then when I found out, I called him and I said, my son was murdered, blah, blah, blah. He came and I said, you don't have to stay with me. 2 weeks, guys, 2 weeks. Can you imagine being in a relation? Were we even in a relationship? Probably not, because it was 2 weeks. Like, how? 2 weeks, I knew him. And then boom, I found out that my son was murdered, and he took care of me. Every single thing. I know that God brought that amazing man into my life. Now, when it came to the marriage part, was that me pushing the marriage, him pushing the marriage, or was that from God? Well, it's obvious it was for me. I was trying to control things, right? We talked about that bus. Who's driving the bus? Yes, God jumped on for a hot second, but I was like, no, I want to get married. I was trying to force it. And we have to stop trying to force things and just let it go. Let it go. Okay, that's my bad singing. Let God do all those things for you. I kind of got on a tangent with that. Forgive me. But challenge the story that you're saying to yourself. Breathe. We talked about the breathing exercise, moving your body. That's something you can do. Of course, praying. Now, I don't know if I'm the only person. I'm just being honest, okay, guys? Sometimes I'm like, does this prayer thing really work? Like, does he hear me? Is he listening? Am I wasting my time? But I do it anyway, even though sometimes I'm like, I'm not sure. And I'm going to say prayer works. How do I know it works? Because I'm still here with you today. Because my life is thriving. And what does success, what does thriving look like you? If you're there and you're like, yeah, I'm surviving, I'm here with that. No, we want to have the best, most wonderful life in the world. So take control of it. Welcome to the stage, Nancy. Do you want to share something, Sunshine? If so, on mic.
Hi, good morning. I've been here for a few minutes, and you're just talking about prayer, and absolutely 100% prayer works. I was just speaking with a young lady the other day, and we were talking about the victim mindset. And I was saying that once you let go of that victim mindset, I feel like God says, okay, now you've opened the gates for me to give you the blessings.
I love that. That is fire. And you're right. A lot of people, they want that, take care of me, do this for me. Anyone else want to share their thoughts and comments on today's topic of mastering your emotions? How do you master emotions? What did you learn? I would love to hear from you. I see Coach Rob. Come on up here, Coach Rob. What do you want to share with us? Coach Rob did come up to the stage. He may just have wanted his pretty face there. Thanks.
Okay. So I'm obviously a coach, but I'm not here to practice to advertise myself. But what I can do, or what I do, is I find that when people don't analyze their thoughts and they don't see where their thoughts come from, and they don't see if their thoughts are valid or not, that's what gets them into, how shall I say, trouble, because they're acting on things which are not valid. So I call invalid thoughts mental junk. So when we get rid of our mental junk and we're God focused, we can attract, we do attract things that God, spirit, Allah, Buddha, whatever your higher power is, wants for us. But if God is on 105.9 and we're on 103.5, we're on the wrong frequency.
Yes, so I love that. I love that.
Tuning ourselves to the proper frequency allows us to show up like the champion that we are.
Yes.
Wayne Dyer, I'm sure some people have heard of Wayne Dyer. He says we're all born geniuses. It's just that the process of life de-geniuses us. And it's our job to re-genius ourselves in any way of our choosing.
I love it. Thank you so much for sharing. That was very, very, very thoughtful. I see in the chat here, Tamara wrote, I call my moments emotional relapse. I love that. Thank you, everyone who has been sharing. I know this can be. Is someone else on miking wanting to speak?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Good morning, StarzTina.
Good morning.
George. It shows that I'm on the phone. Don't know why. So, I don't know what's going on with that. But I love this conversation on emotions, right? Because just yesterday, Julie Logan a podcast was released where she was being interviewed on the jam session with Tina Ileana. And what they spoke about in their conversation, they spoke about emotions. And they said, for some reason, when women show up in business, men will say, don't be so emotional. But then when men are emotional in business, it's usually anger. And so what I had said to both of them, and I put in the comment section, is, this conversation about emotions it's so great because, anger is one of the emotions. And what is wrong with emotions in business? And so what I love that you said about, I believe you had said, your daughter said if she doesn't cry 3 times a week, like that's amazing. And I said, wow, I want to try and adopt that because it's a release, right? And so as human beings, I don't care if we're in business. I don't care if we're in ministry. Doesn't matter what platform you're on. You should be able to experience whatever emotions that you're going through. So I just love the topic of when you and I couldn't put in the chat because I was in the middle of doing something else. But when you talked of the range of emotion, however, you pointed to joy. So I just wanted to just come back and share some reflections on that. So thank you for allowing me to share.
Thank you, Leslie. And I want to tap into something she just said. And this was something that I just thought, crying 2 or 3 times a week. Has anyone here ever cried for joy or cried for happiness? Let me tell you, the very first time I talk about her a lot, my Carla girl, so she did something or said something, she was speaking, and I just got so full of emotion. I started crying, right? When I had a client come in and say, Tina, I learned blah, blah, blah. Thank you. That, I get emotional. So tears do not have to be tears of anger or pain. There can be tears of joy, of happiness that you get as well. So don't think that there's something wrong with having those kind of tears. We have a couple more minutes. Anyone else want to share their thoughts on today's topic?
StarzTina, I have to budge in here. Since, I don't know if you know, but since losing my husband, of course, I've been doing a lot of crying.
How long were you guys together?
Well, we would have just made 21 years
Woo!
2 weeks ago.
Woo! That's a long time. That was your partner. Sorry for your loss.
Thank you. So, my girls have just, I call them effing rock stars because they really truly are. And it's funny because, they'll do something or they'll say something and I'll start crying and I look at them and I'm like, hey guys, I'm not crying because I'm upset. These are grateful tears.
Yes.
So I just wanted to chime in and let you know that I get it. I mean, I've cried so many grateful tears for the strength that God has given my kids. I mean, I could go on, but yeah, I just wanted to chime in and say that.
Thank you so much for sharing, Nancy. And again, sorry for your loss. And that just makes me think of my Aunt Donna. Her husband last week, Sunday, made 1 year when he passed away, my Uncle Frankie. And I remember when it happened, and some people have emotional intelligence and some people don't. And I mean, tap into their feelings and their emotion. And my family, they're very surface people. They're very surface, happy, happy, happy. Everything's happy, happy, happy. Me and my daughter, we're the ones always crying and screaming. And okay, my daughter doesn't scream, I scream. But they're very surface. They don't really feel the feels. So when this happened, I was so worried about my aunt, right? She's always been the best emotional person. She's always been there for me. When my father passed away at 49, she comforted me. When my grandmother passed away, she knows how to comfort. And I was like, who's going to be there for her? So I made a decision every single day I was going to call, because they had rituals, right? Every single morning they would wake up, they would go out for breakfast and sit by the water. I remember going with them and I cry for her, right? Because to have that love. And I asked her, she told me something, their love, their relationship, her and her husband, that was the best love that she experienced in her entire life. Before that, yeah, there's love. It's pat, 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 pat. But to have that love and then to have that ripped away. And the other day I said to her, and she's she has it locked down. January, my daughter and I went to Bermuda to visit her and she's got her regimen. It was 9 o'clock, time for bed, lights out. Everything is routine. And she's taught me stuff in her grief, to myself, how is she doing that? And she says, I had to make a decision. Life goes on. I'm sure she has those moments of sadness, but I say that to say, when it comes to your emotions, my friends, this is a part of your health. Elevate your health is more than just exercise. It's more than just emotion. As Dr. Anita says, it starts from your heart, right? How are you feeling? Health Wells, I don't know if she's in here, but when we first got into a little argument, guys, let me tell you. We were in a group called Mom's Group or something, and we had our meeting. We were all on Zoom, and someone said, "How are you feeling?" No, she said, "How are you feeling?" And I said, "Do you really care?" And she said, "Yes, I actually do." And the reason why I say that, because many people say, "How you doing? How you doing?" And they say it just to be nice, just like good morning. And she said, "Yes, I really do care." And I said, "Well, I'm not having a good day." And then and ever since then, we connected so well because we tapped into that uncomfortable conversation, having those communication things. So when it comes to your health and wellness, it starts in your heart. I used to think it starts in your head, right? The Bible says something, I'm not getting to it because I can't find the verse, but it's in your heart first. What are you feeling? And then when you're feeling it, then you can control. It's not the other way around. I used to think, okay, positive mindset, yes, yes, yes. But if your feelings aren't matching, we talked about this before, that cognitive dissonance. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember, bwcdaily.com. I hear someone on mic. Go for it.
Yes, I just, for the person whose husband passed away, may all his loving and caring memories continue to affect your family, friends, etc., in the most positive way possible.
Thank you so much for that, Coach. And I'm just going to pause and say, when it comes to someone, I hear someone else want to share. When it comes to acknowledging the I'm sorry for your loss. Thank you for everyone. Again, like I said, next week will be my son's birthday. He would have been 32. And I'm so grateful, like Nancy said, I'm grateful that I got to spend 21 amazing years. Yesterday they were fun, screaming, yelling, but I got those 21 years. I have beautiful memories. And if you want to support other children, because like I said, we have the scholarship program and we give it to children to help them with their school books and all that sort of stuff. Would love for you to donate or pass it on to someone else. Elevating your health starts from within. Yes, so look in the mirror. If you like anything that you heard today and you want more, you can go to my YouTube channel. I have exercise videos on there, motivational speeches, everything. YouTube channel is StarzTina. If you want to become a part of our community, we have so many events coming up. In November, we have a retreat and an event the same weekend, and it happens to be on my birthday, November 14th, and Mary Lynn is coming through and she's going to be our event coordinator, so I'm super excited about that. So it's going to be super lit. It's called Elevate Her, and if you're looking to elevate your life in all areas, finances, fitness, all that stuff, that event's for you. You can go to the website I Am StarzTina, and also if you want a one-on-one consultation where you're like, you don't know if you need support in some area, whether it's your fitness and mindset, that whole thing. That's my main thing right there. I'm going to pause if anyone has a question, comment before I get out of here. Did you like what you heard today? Do you have what do you call those? What did you learn? That's what I like. I'm going to check my chat here. Do you guys know how hard it is to not say what you're feeling? Right now, I want to say I'm hungry. That has nothing to do with this right here. Oh, I see. I do have emotion. Motion is misplaced energy in motion when not processed. I like that, Coach E. Emotion is misplaced energy in motion when not processed properly. All righty, crew. I am finished for today. Again, I am Tina. I'm your faith-based health and wellness coach. I'm here every Wednesday at 8 a.m. If you like what you heard, you can go to the replays. If you missed it, please join us on bwcdaily.com to become a part of the community. And with that being said, make some noise for Portia! Woo-hoo! That's your intro music.